Hey, welcome to Compassion Masters TV, where we share our lives because you matter. We're your host. I'm Miss Toy, here with my son Layton.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for another episode.
Today we're going to talk about a kind of grim subject to some, but for me it's just a celebration. But in chapter 10 of my book, which I told you guys last week, we're not going to play the book, so we're just going to talk about what happened in the book. In chapter 10, my father dies of lung cancer, so it was my very first time dealing with death of a close loved one. I had uncles and aunts, and it's a little bit different, but when it's your father, it's a big deal. So I thought we would just chat about death because I know that it is a part of life. I mean, as a supervisor, I deal with death weekly at least. Somebody dies, a patient at the hospital, and although I don't have a connection with them, it still touches me. So I've had to adjust and learn over the years how will I handle death. I have to look at it like for my personal life. I have to appreciate the fact that the person is resting with God, hopefully, and I also have to relax and realize that I'm going to celebrate the times that I had with them. And that's just a choice that I've made to be able to get through it, because it's difficult when you lose somebody, but it doesn't have to be. Right. So for me, with you, one thing my mother did when my father died was they had already had their plots. So they knew they were going to be put together. My father went first, and then my mother went second, and so they had a crypt, and they opened the crypt back when she died. They put her in there with him. Mm-hmm. That was a choice that they made. But what that did for us as a family was it made it easier for us to deal with the grief, because you're dealing with the grief, then you got to deal with the arrangements and putting everything together. So that's the reason why I'm more open, and the reason why I already have my urn, and the reason why I have things in place that the average person wouldn't. Because being a nurse, that's kind of the reality of it, is that you have life and you have death. And you have to choose the way you want it to go for your family. Like for me, I wouldn't want you to agonize over details, because you're an only child, and the details would fall on you. Mm-hmm. So the more of the details that I take care of, then you just have time to grieve me being gone. And so that's my way of showing love to you. It's not being morbid. It's making sure you don't have as many responsibilities to take care of when I'm gone.
Right.
And so that's what my mother and father did for us. It really helped. It's not a bad thing. Just, then you'll go how you want to go. They know they wanted to go that way. They chose their coffins. And for me, I'm more feeling like I don't need all that. And if you decide to have a funeral, that will be your choice. But for my choice, I say celebrate my life and how I lived, and look at these YouTube videos. That's one thing I'm glad that we have, because mm-hmm. it'll be a forever memory for us when I go. And as far as how I want to go, I'm just happy I'll be with the Lord.
Okay. Let me just say, first of all, everybody knows this is awkward talking about this with any family member.
Yes.
But you can definitely tell that you've been sculpted by your profession and by your history with your family.
Yeah.
Because of how you talk about this subject specifically. So, like dealing with your parents, like you said, Cliff Notes is, and they made it way easier on you guys because they had the details pretty much hashed out.
Yeah.
You being one of 3 siblings, you didn't have to argue,
right.
play tug of war of what's going to happen, who's going to do what, whatever. So it made it easy there, but you've also been sculpted with work too, how you, like you said, you deal with death on a weekly basis from a patient or somebody, regardless of having a connection with them or not. It's still difficult, and it's still something, that you deal with all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think that first of all, it's nice that you're able to look at it that way and kind of look at it as, going home to God. I think a lot of us think that way.
Yeah.
But I think it softens the blow a little bit, because this, like you said, the subject is, it could be uncomfortable, it could be, awkward, it could be, make people sad, mad, or scared or whatever. But Yeah, I mean, I
Do
say
you
all
think
that
we
just to
should
commend you
prepare?
that. What's that?
Do you think, would you like me to prepare everything and have it ready
No,
so that
I
you,
mean, like I said, I wouldn't tell you to do any either way. Like I wouldn't be,
yeah,
yeah, have everything ready. I don't want to deal with it. Not like
yeah,
that, but like, or no, I want to take care of everything. It's like then I want to know what you want. So I
yeah,
don't know. I wouldn't be able to say, but what I will say is that I think mentally it's nice to prepare, but for those things.
yeah.
But I think that when you dwell on it too much, it just ends up it's just miserable. I don't know. I feel like you're manifesting it in a certain way, and
Oh,
I just don't like
you
thinking
don't
about
like
it.
thinking about
Honestly, yeah.
it. I got you. Well, I want to give a shout out to my sister Jennifer, who's Ray in the book, by the way, powertripthebook.com. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
shout out to my sister because it ended up, all the arrangements pretty much ended up falling on her, and that's the reason why I say what I say to you, because she wasn't an only child, but me and my brother, we didn't help her. She pretty much did all the arrangements and picking out the outfit and all the stuff that you have to do, and that's the reason why I say the more you have done, the better it is for the person who's grieving, because it just gives you time to grieve instead of focusing on the
Well,
details.
or I mean, I've never been through this of preparing for a funeral or anything like that, but it could also be meaning keeping yourself so busy that you're not falling apart. I could see it that way. I'm just saying. I mean, I'll
That's
speak for
true.
myself, being an only child. When you said that, you're doing everything to make it easier on me, to not have to, stress about that, whatever. I don't have anyone to argue with. Like nobody could tell me, yeah, you have to do it this way or you can't. Like
Yeah,
nobody has the control
that's
over that
true.
anyway. So, um, in that case, I'm just saying if someone that's by themselves, as far as
Yeah,
sibling wise, and then dad not having in control, either it just be me,
right.
um, that would be okay to be keeping me busy as far as
Okay,
that goes.
that's
So
good to know.
I'm not saying to do it that way.
No,
I'm just
I
saying
know.
it's a different perspective versus
Okay.
somebody who has four, three brothers and one sister
That's
type
true.
thing, and they have to play tug of war. Like, okay, this is who's gonna do this,
That's
whatever.
true.
It's just different. So I
Do
don't
you
know.
think we went to your aunt's funeral, and the reason why we didn't have to drive to the cemetery afterwards because her mother chose to cremate her.
Hmm.
So, would you prefer to have a funeral and drive to the cemetery, or you don't have opinion, or you don't care? However, whatever I decide.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But whatever you decide, I'm not gonna be selfish and be like, well, this is how I want us to go, like,
Yeah.
or see you go. Like, it's
Yeah.
not. That's not my choice to make. I would be, okay with either one, whichever one you decided.
Okay.
I think, to be honest, I think the funeral is. Well, I don't know if I want to say that. I'm just gonna say it. I think it's more for the people who are letting the person go than for
It
the actual
is.
person.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the focus gets taken off of that when people start arguing. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to be like this. I wanted this or what.
Right.
It's this is
Yeah.
not what it's
It's
supposed to be
true.
about. But I mean,
Yeah,
everyone's
so
different.
I was gonna say no funeral for me. I wanted to have my ashes just kind of sprinkled in the beautiful water with sun rays out.
That definitely sounds like her for sure. Oh
So,
man.
but of course, once I'm gone, you can do whatever you want to do. I ain't gonna even know. But if I plan it and have a
My
plan
gosh.
before, then that's how it's gonna be. So I also wanted to give a little. Let's talk a moment. If somebody's lost somebody recently, what can you do to move on? I think what helped me, time definitely helps. I mean, after a while, you just start to remember funny things that the person did, or you remember about them. When I tell Layton about his grandfather, I tell him that he was a black cowboy. And I miss him. It's been a lot of years. I miss him. But you have to hold to the good things that the person did and the good things that he instilled in me and why I am the person that I am today.
I think that's the biggest the biggest takeaway is when you lose someone like that, that kind of role in your life. It's you just start thinking, and it's like a highlight reel of all of these, memories, and even things that used to be bad memories become good memories because you even miss those things as well. So, I can only imagine at this point. Like I said, I still have, you and Dad, but I can only imagine when that day comes.
Yeah.
It's going to be devastating, and then I feel for the parents that have to bury their children. It happens.
Yeah.
And so I can only, like I said, at this point, imagine that, but I don't even want to imagine that feeling. How
it's true.
How big of a pit
and
that
at
must
some
be.
point in time, I've gotten into it with various family members, but what I will say is, you always have to get over it at some point. Forgiveness is not just for the other person, but it's for yourself, and just create a new relationship with that person, so that you can have good, fond memories. That seems to be important in my way of just growing older. You start to not even remember what it was you were upset about. It just becomes not even an issue anymore.
Yeah, that happens a lot too. Where it's been so long, it's been so many years, or like even if it's been 1 year and you've been so busy that year, you get caught up. You don't even remember why you don't talk to that person anymore, or what was the issue. I don't even remember.
What was it?
And then sometimes you even forget you've been mad at them, and you see them, hey, what's up? And the last time you guys were screaming and whatever. So it's just, that's how it works.
It is.
So
So
I don't know. You definitely don't want to have any burdens or any guilt.
And it's not worth
or
it. In
grudges.
the end, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Love on each other, and we're going to leave you at this point with that message. And you can buy compassionate gear if you want to be a part of the Compassion family. Still at
Oh my God. Somebody please buy a shirt, buy a mug or something, man. Buy a what's it called? A pin.
You can
buy
get
a
mask, you can get
you can
mugs,
get a mask,
you can get shirts,
you
can get hats.
whatever you need on there. It's probably there. You can get spoons for your house if you need silverware.
Whatever.
We actually just came out with this new line of furniture. So if you need that, get that.
Don't
at that
forget,
link.
Layton's channel is Say LA, and on YouTube. To our audience, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel, and we appreciate you so much. And we're going to change the world. So just keep on tuning in.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.